It's time to sit back, relax, and listen to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life will inspire, motivate, and empower you. Live your best life now. Listen, learn, think, and decide. Change your attitude, change your life. And now, here's your host, Joan Herman.
Welcome to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. I'm Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life brings you interviews with some of the most inspirational and influential people in the world. It's our goal to educate and empower you so you can live your best life now. Thank you for taking time for yourself, and thank you for letting us be a part of your life. We have another great show for you today. Is your head full of ideas, or is there one that just won't go away? Are you experiencing self-doubt about finishing a project, such as writing a book or spearheading a work initiative? Are you ready to claim your creative success? Today's guest, Gail McMeekin, says that it's time to make your creative inspirations a top priority and a cornerstone of your life. She's the author of The 12 Secrets of Highly Successful Women, among other books. Welcome, Gail. Thanks for joining us.
I'm delighted to be here.
So, Gail, you have helped countless women achieve success. From what you've learned over the years, what are some of the biggest blocks that keep us from achieving what we desire?
Great question. There are lots of things. It's very hard because of our social conditioning to stay focused. Men have a better aptitude. Women are sort of holistic thinkers. So it's really important to stay focused. And as women, we seem to have this perfectionistic streak, which could be our downfall. And we need to, for example, somebody writes a novel and then, leaves it in the closet for 5 years or something like that. So we need to learn how to be more adept at taking positive risks and taking inspired, imperfect action. Because even if we make a mistake, and we're terrified to make a mistake, mistakes teach us and get us to the next level. So that by making an error, we've at least forwarded the action and we're not sitting at home procrastinating.
Gail, you write about something called creative intelligence. What is this, and how does it relate to our success?
It's very important. It's really thinking of creativity as an innate gift you have. And a lot of people had their creativity eclipsed in childhood, nasty comments from art teachers and parents and so forth, where we tried something new and creative and it was disruptive, or we made a tree purple or something like that. So there's a healing process that has to go through in terms of tapping into our creative intelligence and our capability to make new connections, try new things, be innovative, and really dedicate time in our lives and in our weeks to develop those skills. Sometimes you start with things that are very small, like, my kid is screaming in the supermarket. What innovative thing can I come up with that's going to shift the energy of the situation? So we use our creativity all the time, and many people, still comment, I don't have access to my creativity, and it may be lost and needs to be redeveloped, or they may be using it all the time and not realize that's what it is.
Well, do you think, Gail, that's because people, when they think of creative, they think of, musical performers or artists. They associate creativity with the arts and not with their everyday life.
Exactly. And it's interesting, though, that there was a study that IBM did that talks about how creativity is the most required leadership skill for the 21st century. So that includes being creative when you're an entrepreneur. It means being creative when you're coaching employees for improved performance. It means being creative when you're looking at why are sales down, what can we do to be different, and so forth. So in our jobs and in our businesses, we're always having to reinvent ourselves. Everything's changing so fast that we're continually having to be creative and come up with some kind of innovative way to talk about what we're doing.
It's interesting, Gail. When I started this work, before it, I never really thought of myself as a creative person. For all the reasons that we've discussed. But once I branched out into what I'm doing now, it's like the floodgates opened and my mind doesn't stop. And so I was looking through your list of highly creative women, the pitfalls of highly creative women, and I have to admit I saw myself in just about every one of these. And I'm sure that other women like us will see themselves in them as well. So let's go through a few of these. What do you believe are some of the most common pitfalls of highly creative women?
Not saying no, not being focused, and committing the time necessary to do whatever kind of creative work that you're doing. We're often too easily distracted, and we don't make our creative thinking a priority and recognize that how do we access ideas? Well, we may need to meditate. We may need to go for a walk. We may need to go to a workshop. And how do we continually feed our creative mind with new ideas? And women in particular, how do we let go of these societal norms? We have to really kind of look at making ourself and our health, spirit, and heartfelt desires and passions a priority, make the space for them. And for women, that's a lot harder to do. And the other thing is there's something that I talk about in the book called ideaphoria, which I know intimately because I have it. You can actually test for it. And so for people who have tons of ideas, that could be overwhelming and get us very distracted. And we really need to zero in on, okay, this year I'm going to write this book, or this year I'm going to start this magazine. I was reading about all the things you're doing, or this year these are my priorities, and recognize that you can't do them all at the same time. So you need to pick one or two and move ahead with those.
Gail, I know many women who want to make a change in their life, but they're afraid. What would you say to encourage someone to take that first step? What are some of the new mindsets that you believe we must learn in order to become more courageous?
One of the things we need to do is we need to learn how to control our thoughts, and we need to recognize that we're the CEO of our lives, and we need to be proactive, and that life is a transition. We're always transitioning. So whatever business we're in, there's a constant state of flux and transition, and if we don't embrace the transition or else shift out of what we're doing, then that's a problem. So a lot of people hang on to jobs they hate that make them miserable every day just for that security, instead of leveraging what they have and creating a situation where they're actually more empowered and more secure, because often if we're in a job that we hate, it shows, and we can get ourselves in hot water or get fired or what have you, have the choice taken away from us. So we really need to be proactive and look at crafting a life that honors all of our creative gifts, fits in with our lifestyle, and keeps us healthy, because burnout is such a huge issue for women.
Gail, what does it mean to filter and focus in order to give creative ideas time and space to evolve?
When we get a lot of creative ideas, which is really great, that's a wonderful thing to have, and everybody has them even if they think they don't. Some people have more than others. I find a lot of highly creative people have, more ideas than lifetimes. So we need to go through a process with those. And I actually did a video on this where I sat on the floor with all my project ideas and tried to put them in order. What am I going to do now? What's the heartfelt calling? Because sometimes, for example, people write a book that they think is going to sell, but they're not passionate about it. And I need to help them say, then put this book aside now, and let's help you write the book that your intuition is screaming at you that you want to do that. So we need to filter these ideas for what's really a fantasy, what's a possibility, and where is our psychological energy, so that we can really get behind it and hang in there with it, because it takes a long time to start a business or write a book or write a symphony or solve a creative problem. One of the women I interviewed was Peggy Whitson, who's the female astronaut who spent the most time in space, and she talks a lot about how she needed to kind of bring the female perspective into the spaceship and solve problems in different ways. So we have that capability. We just need to nurture it and focus, which means subtracting what I call serenity stealers, and that may be people, environments you don't like, maybe limited thinking. We need to get those serenity stealers out of our lives so we can create a life of positive choices that supports our creativity and helps us to feel fulfilled.
The book is The 12 Secrets of Highly Successful Women. If you would like to get more information about the book or Gail and her work, you can visit creativesuccess.com. Gail, in our final moments, what is the takeaway? What's the one thing you'd like to leave our listeners with?
That just a reminder that you are creative and that you want to be noticing times when you come up with creative solutions to problems, even if it's, how do I change this recipe because I don't have the right ingredients in the house, or remembering that you came in and smoothed out a really sticky business interaction and that you have that skill of diplomacy, which can be leveraged, and that we all have the capability to make new connections and put our own stamp on things. So even if someone's done something similar, you're different, and if you tune into your truth, you're going to do it differently. So not to be threatened by other people's work, but charge ahead on your own.
Gail, thank you so much for being here with us today and for providing strategies that can help us tap into our creativity and leverage our abilities. We are all creative, as you said, and it's time that we tap into it and make our life more fulfilling. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Joan. It was great to talk with you.
We'll be right back. Thank you for joining us. I hope you found the show informative. At Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life, we believe that knowledge is power. Take what you've learned, apply it, and live your best life now. Remember that the information provided are the opinions of our guests and should never replace the advice of a professional who knows your personal situation. If you'd like more information, visit our website, CYACYL.com. While on the site, listen to past shows on demand, read our digital magazine, take part in the book club, check out our team, and be sure to follow the show on social media. Until next time, this is Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in.